All right, so a lot of y'all want to help with this problem number 9. So I'm going to try and run through it real quick. And I did say I wanted to send a video to you. I just didn't want to rush it during class because we were pressed for time. So this problem is, the topic is unit rate, okay? So we're going to still set up the same way we set up the other ones as two equivalent fractions. So it says that Kira finished 2/5 of a puzzle in 1/5 of an hour. And it said at this rate, how many puzzles can she finish in 1 hour? So we're going to throw these into our equivalent fractions. It's going to look a little weird, but we're still going to solve them the same way, okay? So it says 2/5 of a puzzle, 2/5 of a puzzle. I'll just put P for puzzle. And then it says 1/5 of an hour. So I'm going to put 1/5 H for hour. If you want to write the whole word out, you could. And I'm going to get to work on my next equivalent fraction. And it says 1 hour. So I'm going to put hour as my denominator because it says I have to keep it consistent. So being that I put hour on the bottom in my first fraction, I have to put it on bottom in my second fraction. So now we're going to get into actually solving it because the setup is already done. So I'm going to look at this. At the bottom, I'm going from 1/5 to 1. I'm going from 1/5 to 1. Let me change that. It's a little too light for me. Okay, so we're going from 1/5 to 1 hour. So in order to figure that out, because I don't know what I'm multiplying by, so I'm going to have to divide it out. So I'm going to come over here and divide this out. 1/1 divided by 1/5. We know we can't really multiply being divided fractions, so we're going to do what's called multiplying by that big word, the reciprocal. So I'm going to keep my first term the same, 1/1. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, or the flip version of that fraction. So 5/1. So 1 times 5 is 5. We can just multiply across now. And 1 times 1 is 1. So that's 5/1. Or we should know that's equal to just 5 by itself. Now I'm well aware. I know when you look at this, it seems like it's a whole lot of work. But all I did right here was just divide two fractions. 1/1 divided by 1/5. That's all that work is. I just like to show all the steps out so we can see it. So now we know we're multiplying by 5. So if we multiply our denominators by 5, we have to do the same thing to our numerators, times 5. So I'm going to come over here again and do that last step. It's going to be 2/5 times 5. We know we have to put a little imaginary or invisible 1 under that 5 to be able to multiply those two fractions. So 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5. Now 10 divided by 5 should give me 2, which is going to give us answer C. Okay. So if you want to recap, if I think I can divide, okay, there we go. Just to recap, we did 2 steps. The first step was to, I probably should use this color. The first step was to divide my fraction, 1 divided by 1/5. And the second step was to multiply it out. I'm going to try and use green. Okay. So it looks like a lot only because it's fractions, but really it's just 2 steps.